The Han Kuang military drills practice defending a new piece of key infrastructure. We get US Representative Michael McCaul's thoughts on arms deals, drones, and China's gray zone tactics.
It is a first step in preparation towards what could be an invasion, and that deeply disturbs me.
Plus, as Father's Day approaches, we look at challenges new dads face in taking parental leave. A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. Taiwan's Han Kuang military exercise enters its third day with obstacle drills on a bridge and at an airport in northern Taiwan. They follow a weapon production drill during a simulated wartime attack. Alan Liu reports.
Combat engineers set up HESCO barriers on a bridge to slow an advancing enemy force. Filled with sand or soil, the barriers allow troops to quickly construct strong defensive walls. This is part of the Danjiang Bridge defensive obstacle drill. It's one of the scenarios featured in Taiwan's annual Han Kuang military exercise. When this new bridge opened earlier this year, it immediately became strategically important as a key transportation link in northern Taiwan. If an invading force breaks through the mouth of the Danshui River by landing at Shalun Beach, the bridge could give a direct route toward critical infrastructure like the Port of Taipei and Taoyuan International Airport.
有人会问说啊，这些主角设施能够阻挡敌军吗？其实是不太能够。但是呢，敌军会考虑说，万一我要冲破这个路上的时候，它会增加它的进攻时间，它会不会改道到其他地方？那这个时候呢，我方呢也会想说，我就把守军呢埋伏在另外一个通道，用那个地方去歼敌。
The engineers also deploy steel hedgehogs paired with concertina wire, another type of defensive obstacle. Together, these are designed to hinder the movement of enemy vehicles and personnel, funneling them into predetermined kill zones. And concrete wave breakers were also set up as part of the obstacle drill. But there is more. On the other side of the bridge, those red lights lining the riverbank are tanks positioned to defend against a simulated advancing enemy. A closer look reveals a line of CM-11 tanks concealed in position. They are designed to engage targets while on the move. The southbound lanes of the bridge were closed through the night for the exercise. And there has been civilian participation in the drill too, highlighting the coordination and trust required between the military and the public.
It's not just a military operation, right? The defense of Taiwan is going to take everybody. That's why they're working on whole society resilience. So integrating volunteers, I think, is very, very important.
But it wasn't just the bridge. Over at Taoyuan International Airport, troops simulated an enemy airborne assault and set up defensive obstacles. Alongside Taiwan's Clouded Leopard armored vehicles, the military also deployed for the first time its advanced US-made Abrams tanks, key ground artillery for rehearsing air defense. This follows a drill in the north, which tested relocating weapon production lines. The goal was to ensure that even if existing facilities were attacked, weapon manufacturing could still continue. Together, all these exercises are aimed at defending Taipei, Taiwan's political and economic center. But equally important is ensuring both military operations and civilian resilience can continue in the face of an attack. Fu Hua Hong, Dauphin Chen, and Alan Liu for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has completed a fully autonomous search mission using AI piloting software and domestically produced drones. Taiwan's Zhongshan Institute teamed up with American startup Shield AI to pilot a free drone search mission. The drones covered their own search areas, coordinated maneuvers, and landed themselves once the mission was complete. Shield AI says this kind of piloting software is critical for effective drone use on a battlefield. Following the successful trial, the institute says it plans to roll out the piloting software more broadly across Taiwan's drone fleet. Several members of the U.S. Congress recently visited Taiwan. One of them is Republican U.S. Representative Michael McCaul, a longtime supporter of Taiwan who previously served as the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Our reporter Tiffany Wong sat down with him in Taipei to hear the message he hopes to deliver during this visit.
I know that you mentioned before that you are quite confident that President Trump will pass another $14 billion arms sale to Taiwan. How soon do you think that might be? And do you think it could happen before President Trump meets with Chinese President Xi Jinping in September?
Well, only President Trump can answer that question. I can tell you where the United States Congress is, that we are strongly supportive of Taiwan, that we want to see that foreign military sales package tendered to the Congress for approval, which will happen very quickly. I feel that I do believe the president will do that soon, and that's part of the deterrence.
So during this trip, you met with President Lai Ching-te and also Foreign Minister Lin Jialong. I'm wondering what kind of key messages did you convey to Taiwanese government officials? I know that you mentioned, expanding the non-red drone supply chain, potentially seeing some, partnerships with the U.S. and Taiwan there. Could you explain a bit? Congress
stands strongly behind Taiwan, both Republican and Democrat. There's no party distinction on Taiwan. I had the honor to meet with your speaker and parliament members from both parties, the DPP and the KMT. They seem very solidified on their legislation in terms of foreign military sales and also the drone issue. And what's great about it is it mirrors exactly what we are doing in Washington right now with the National Defense Authorization Bill, with the Taiwan Security Initiative Act, which basically authorizes $1 billion towards co-production of advanced drone capabilities in Taiwan and in the Philippines, as well. It's great that your parliament and our Congress are working together almost simultaneously in defense of Taiwan.
Thinking about the conversations you've had with different members of Taiwan's government over this week, what sort of messages and takeaways do you have to bring back to Congress and the U.S. government?
That people of Taiwan stand strongly with us, that the weapon sales are extremely important, that our cooperation between your military and our Indo-PACOM, our military in the Indo-Pacific, and specifically Admiral Paparo, is very important. Also, that the gray zone is real, that China is invading that, not just with their Navy warships, which I was greeted by the last time I came here, by the way, and then sanctioned, but also by a ghost fleet of unmarked vessels under the name of research and their Coast Guard, that they're exploiting that to go into the gray zone and conduct exercises. It is the first step in preparation towards what could be an invasion, and that deeply disturbs me, and that is a message that I will be taking back. And it's precisely why this $14 billion package needs to be submitted to the Congress as soon as possible.
That was U.S. Representative Michael McCaul. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered a 15% tariff and minimum import prices on a key raw material used in making semiconductors. The proposed tariff targets polysilicon, which is used in manufacturing semiconductors, solar panels, and other electronics components. According to the White House, the new regulations will stack on top of other tariffs and fees already in place. But tariffs on polysilicon from Taiwan will be capped at 15%. Trump's decision comes as part of a broader U.S. effort to shift supply chains away from China. The order is set to take effect in December. On the eve of Taiwan's Father's Day, some dads are spending time at home with their young children thanks to a more flexible parental leave system. But not all eligible fathers can enjoy this benefit. Irene Lin brings this report.
Cradling his now 8-month-old daughter, Wu Zongyuan is one of the few full-time dads in Taiwan. He's set to go back to work at the end of the month after he and his wife each took 6 months of paid leave to spend more time with their newborn.
就是后来会一起请的决定，是因为我们觉得说，就是小孩的成长只有一次，那我们刚好也是都是新手爸妈，就是2个人一起去面对，因为毕竟我们是自己住外面，然后其实算是没有后援的情况。其实现在目前有8升薪嘛，但我们就是其实我跟他有讨论过、衡量过之后，其实我们2个人8升薪加起来算是有办法支应生活的支出，对。
The current rules allow parents like Wu to take a total of 2 years off before the child turns 3. 6 months of it are paid up to a maximum of about $1,100, while the rest is unpaid. And as of this January, parents are also allowed to take 30 individual days off. Thanks to the extra flexibility, there have been more fathers taking time off to be with family. They even surpassed the number of mothers on leave in May, according to the Labor Ministry's latest figures. Still, the numbers show that more than half of all applicants are women. Some local NGOs worry that traditional gender roles persist.
在台湾常常都把这样子的这个责任，其实是转嫁给女性的这个部分，那造成女性劳动参与率在30岁之后大幅下降的这个部分。那其实另外一个层面，我们也看到男性他也遇到同样的这个状况，他可能要花更多的心力在职场上面去努力。
These assumptions often translate into tangible salary bonuses for working fathers, tilting the income scale in their favor over mothers when deciding who should keep working.
因为过去我们会有一个词叫做父职红利，也就是因为传统预设爸爸是养家者，所以爸爸在生了小孩之后，可能他的薪资薪酬有可能因为有小孩之后，他反而比如说加班时数更长，或者是主管也会觉得，今天你是一个爸爸，你看起来是一个可靠的人，所以在薪资升迁上面会比女性有更多的机会。请假之后，他的收入会相对锐减非常多，那其实是不利整个家里就是维持经济收入安全的。
For fathers who want to take time off, workplace advantages and pressure can also make it harder for them to step away from the job, especially if they work in competitive industries like tech.
一般的家长应该是大概在他的工作年资可能在3到5年左右，职场在压力，然后工作的分量多，然后再来就是他在支配权上面比较少的状况下，政府机关的那个 法令它的强制性可能要再更高一点。大的电子业或者是比较大的机构，它开始身先士卒，或者它起一个示范的作用，其实这个就会带领我们整个工作环境的改变。
And relief may be in sight. The cabinet is looking to add several benefits on top of the current parental leave rules. The 6 months of paid leave could become 9 months. The 30 flexible days of leave will become 60 days, and parents with children under 6 years old will also be eligible.
就是如果有孩子有突发状况，譬如说要看医生，或者是保姆临时的，就是可能就是整日的需要请假的话，我自己会觉得说比较不用担心说，我是不是我还有没有就是额外的假可以去请。
Taiwan has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. Cross-party consensus is building in the legislature for measures to ease a potential demographic crisis. And parents and activists hope that the latest reform will help change gender roles and workplace culture, giving fathers and their children more time to bond. Devin Tsai in Naringlin for TaiwanPlus.
Thai authorities say 5 teachers were killed and 23 people were injured after a student opened fire on teachers and other pupils at a school near Bangkok. The 14-year-old gunman then took his own life. Thailand's public health minister says the student also killed his grandparents before the attack at a school, taking the death toll from the attack to 8. Thailand has strict gun laws but has seen several mass shootings in recent years, most recently another school shooting in February. The Pacific Islands Forum has failed to reach an agreement on a joint statement condemning a recent Chinese missile test. The forum is a group of 18 countries that seek to strengthen cooperation in a region. The foreign ministers of member countries met in Fiji on Friday, where some member countries said they'd push for a joint statement speaking out against China's actions. But the ministers failed to reach a consensus because Kiribati and Nauru reportedly opposed to the measures. Kiribati and Nauru, formerly known as Nauru, have seen stronger ties with China in recent years, as both countries switched diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing in 2019 and 2024, respectively. A database leak first covered by the New York Times has exposed a police surveillance program in Zhangjiakou, a city in China. The archive includes a personal information of thousands of foreigners, including journalists and Taiwanese citizens who never visited the area. For more on what this leak tells us about China's border intelligence operations, we spoke earlier with Dr. Shen Mingshi, research fellow at Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research.
How widespread are these databases like Zhangjiakou, and what do we know about its AI relationship mapping capabilities?
Because Xi Jinping right now is very sensitive about political security and national security, and then let's just pass the law of anti-espionage. So because this law, this regulation, so let many government, local government, try to have the platform, try to have many information of foreigner. When they come to the mainland China, and then they know in this city and this province already have this, and they can monitor, they can control, prevent them collect the sensitive information or intelligence from this place. Xi Jinping is trying to continue his power to the fourth term. Before 2027, we know Xi Jinping is also worried about that the United States or the foreign government try to know inside situation or domestic situation of China.
And so with Taiwanese people and, particularly foreign journalists being tracked, how do you think the Chinese state security actually uses this against visitors or residents?
You will have the sensitive information. For example, they will check your mobile phone, your camera. If you have a sensitive information or picture, maybe you will be arrested by the China. It also that because China very afraid these people enter mainland China to let the mainland China people know many sensitive information that before the mainland China people don't know. For example, the Taiwan real situation or Xi Jinping domestic situation or power struggle among the senior party leader, DPP senior officer and their relative. When they know you are connected to the DPP government official, and then they'll arrest you and then try to know your really relation and try to know your understanding about the DPP inside situation. If you are a reporter, if you are a journalist, of course, they will check your background and your media and then your attitude toward China. If you have said that the big word of China, I think they will not allow you enter China to take some interview or something like that, because you can see that many correspondents in China or journalists, they want to write some story about China. Maybe they choose Taiwan, they visit Taiwan and write something about China.
That was Shen Mingshi, research fellow from INDSR. Baking heat and long droughts usually spell disaster for agriculture, but for the salt farmers of Indonesia, the extreme temperatures brings a welcome boost to harvests. Reese Ayers is back with the story.
For most farmers in Indonesia, blistering heat and prolonged droughts are something to fear. But for these salt farmers in West Java, the high and dry temperatures, intensified by a strengthening El Niño, are more than welcome.
Because when there's a long drought, production increases, production continues every day, and the harvest continues during the El Nino season because it is a long drought.
Is that good for you?
Yes, it is good. It is profitable.
The farmers here use simple, century-old techniques to evaporate seawater from shallow coastal pools. In the same month last year, this area produced 25 to 30 tons of salt. But with the ongoing drought, production this July has increased 20-fold.
It is already hitting 600 tons, so the drought is likely to continue from August to October, but hopefully it will prolong to September through November, and then the possibility of a more abundant harvest will be higher.
While it may be good for salt farmers, for others across Southeast Asia and beyond, the baking heat means lower crop yields and more wildfires. This year's El Nino is already a strong one and could contribute to bring more record-breaking temperatures.
2026 so far has been the third warmest year on record through June, but we expect it to get much warmer in the coming months as this very strong El Nino event continues to develop.
As global temperatures climb, these farmers are making the most of every scorching day, aware that a single rainstorm could interrupt this year's bumper harvest.
For us, El Nino is a blessing and a grace. It is something we should be grateful for and allow us to give more to others. For me, if I ask from God and He is willing, I hope El Nino will come every year.
While millions across the region pray for the relief of rain, for the salt farmers in West Java, every extra day of drought means more money in their pockets. Chris Ma and Reese Ayres for TaiwanPlus.
As global AI leaders continue to expand their data centers, the amount of electricity they need rises as well. Taiwanese companies are at the center of efforts to reduce power consumption and make them more efficient. Ai Chi reports.
Major AI players like Google and Microsoft are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into AI data centers to expand their capabilities. But ensuring these facilities have the power they need has become increasingly important and increasingly challenging.
关键在于说 AI 资料中心它的用电量越来越大，那其实是对于地区区域的电力会有很大的一个压力。之前的云端资料中心，我们可能10、20 M 瓦这样子的规模可能就足够了。那现在可能我们在讲大型的 AI 资料中心，可能动辄是上百 M 瓦。
According to Market Intelligence and Consulting Institute, reducing the annual electricity consumption of a typical 100 megawatt AI data center by just 1% can save enough electricity to power around 2,500 households. When local power grids have limited capacity, meeting those data centers' 24/7 power demands requires not only expanding electricity supply, but also improving energy efficiency to reduce consumption. That's where companies like Delta Electronics, a leading supplier of power infrastructure to companies like NVIDIA and Amazon, come in. At Delta's Zhongli Plant 5 in Taoyuan, engineers demonstrate how its technologies and energy solutions are being adapted to power their customers' evolving needs. And senior executives say their solutions are well received among their clients.
客户对这样的一个解决方案，其实他是非常的 appreciate， 就是说我们可以提供这个方案，让他的这个效率可以提升，然后可以提供他的客户更多的算力，让每一个 token 的这个成本可以降低。
The International Energy Agency expects data center electricity consumption to more than double by 2030. As AI expands and evolves, growing energy demand will require power infrastructure with greater scale, stability, and efficiency. The company's latest energy solutions focus on microgrids, energy management systems that combine different power sources and automatically switch between them to optimize power supply. These powerful tools could mean a reliable and efficient energy source for power-hungry data centers.
那我们现在加速的去布建我们在区域电网这个 microgrid 这边整个的这个 smart AI 的这些解决方案，我们也希望在整个的这个用新的这些技术能够强化这些不管用电端跟供电端这边的整个的能源的韧性。
Taiwanese power equipment suppliers like Delta are well positioned to capitalize on the growing demand.
它会慢慢的从硬体的电源供应，然后往外去扩张，提供一些储能以及发电设备。那最后再透过一个整体性的一个服务的 软硬体方案，把它整合在一起。
Global data center power infrastructure is expected to reach around $30 billion by 2034. Companies like Delta have already seen the AI boom reflected in their stock performance, with shares more than doubling over the past year. The company reported record high revenue of around $17 billion last year and expects AI to continue being its main business driver.
With AI expansion showing no signs of slowing, Taiwanese suppliers like Delta are well positioned to benefit from the ever-growing needs driven by the global AI boom. Luffy Li, NIT in Taoyuan for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of horseback riding in a sea during Croatia's summer heat wave. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.
This month's top hits on TaiwanPlus. This is Taiwan's Satoyama, where caring for the land creates a home for everyone.
我其实心里是一个很脆弱的人，我心里会走心。
Hear stories of how they navigate the quiet turns of everyday life.
我是我们部落的先例，
以女生的样子实际活着，能不能被人喜欢？
Some people leave home, others take home with them.
虽然我居住在中南美洲很久，但是我都不会忘记我是阿美族。
所以良率才是我们最大的关键。
Meet the professionals redefining industry at the forefront of the AI
最
revolution.
好的方式就是非人操作，
协助渔民赶快找到鱼，赶快回家。
Vibrant and original programs exclusively on TaiwanPlus.